Hollyland is continuing their trend of releasing incredibly unique wireless microphones. I've tried both the Lark and the Lark M2S and liked them both, but today we're trying two brand new designs, the A1, this little guy right here, and the Max 2, which is geared more toward professionals. We're gonna get into all of it to hopefully help you decide if one of these is best for your workflow. So let's do it. This video is sponsored by Hollyland, so consider it a showcase, not a review. First, let's go over design. It was actually like porta potty disgusting in there, so I'm gonna do it out here. Let's start off with the Max kit, which comes in this really nice, premium, smooth feeling quality case. This is what the Max transmitter looks like. It's very small, as you can see, and this is what the A1 transmitter looks like, even tinier. You can use magnets for either of these microphones to clip onto your subjects, but also this one, the Max, comes with a built-in clip, which is very handy dandy. That's what I did with the Max here on my shirt, just clipped it on and put a little wind filter on it that it comes with, so I can use it outside and not have to worry about howling winds.
Surprise, I'm in the video. You have these little silicone pieces and you slide that over top of that, and now it acts as a magnet. So you can attach this under your shirt. These are Bluetooth monitoring headphones. So one of the annoying things about monitoring audio is that you actually have to be glued to your camera with a cable, which is super annoying. But actually you can have these things instead and be anywhere and direct, and you don't have to be tied to your camera, which is pretty amazing.
When you open up the case, these two sides are where the transmitters are stored and charged. It's like an AirPods case. It will recharge your microphones. This right here allows you to use the Max with your USB-C compatible device. You can also get it with Lightning compatible devices, which is great for me because I'm still rocking a 14 Pro. And then in this compartment here is the receiver that can go on your camera. And that's the big separator between the Max 2 and the A1, is the Max can be used with 3.5mm audio devices like your cameras. Now here's the case for the A1. It's a lot smaller. It also recharges your devices, and the case itself can be recharged with USB-C as well. Inside, this is where the microphones are stored, and you get a USB-C and Lightning adapter for your phone. Obviously, I have the Lightning one plugged into my phone right now. And overall, I just can't get over how incredibly small this is. It would be amazing for anything travel, or if you want to be discreet and not look like a ding-dong filming out in public. This is a great option. Just make sure you keep in mind the A1 does not work with 3.5mm audio jacks. It just works with USB-C or Lightning compatible devices. But one thing it does do that the Max doesn't is it comes in black or white. So if you need something that blends in with lighter clothes or something like that, like a wedding dress, the A1 might be your best bet. But something unique about the Max is that it's coated in this texture that is skin friendly. So it shouldn't irritate you or your client if you have it on skin or mounted up on your collar, stuff like that, which is very handy as well. Oh, it's starting to rain. It's starting to rain. Oh, it's coming down quick. All right, here we go, here we go. Looks like we will have to do some tests indoors. Well, we're back inside. This audio probably sounds a little doo-doo cheeks. It's my Sony FX30 top microphone set to auto. Let's switch this up. I'm gonna go with one of the Max 2 microphones. I'm gonna hit record, which is gonna give us internal 32-bit float recording, which should sound pretty dang good. We're gonna do some dedicated tests, but first I wanna go over what the buttons on each of these devices do so you know what's going on. Let's start with the transmitter on the Max 2 and talk about its buttons. First of all is the power button that you hold down for a couple seconds. The light is flashing right now because it's not actually synced to the receiver, because I need to show you what the receiver looks like. This is the receiver right here, and I absolutely love how compact it is. It's so dang small. That is where the audio cable plugs into and goes into your camera. I love that you can charge it separately with USB-C or in the case using these little contacts. To turn on noise cancellation, you just tap once on the power button. You can tap this to start a 32-bit float recording. 32-bit float audio, think of it as recording audio in RAW, where even if your gain is set to really low or way too high, you can actually get that information back in post either way. And it just basically acts as a massive safety, like a failure safety. I still like to practice setting quality levels even with 32-bit float. I like to set mine between -20 and -12, and I use compression and EQ to boost that later. But 32-bit float can absolutely save you in a pinch, and the fact that this tiny of a transmitter can record that is pretty nutso. But what's even more insane about the Max 2 and its transmitters is that it can actually transmit 32-bit float to particular devices. Now, to my current knowledge, I don't think it's gonna be able to do this to most cameras. I think they would have to somehow like work together with camera companies to make this work, but you can do this to a list of compatible devices. It is cool that it can transmit 32-bit float, but I don't see it as a necessity for myself right now, at least. But obviously, if we get to the point where it's an added feature, I'll take it. More quality, more happy Zachy. But something I will use like crazy is the internal 8 gigabytes of storage that this little transmitter comes with. That gives you 10 hours of 32-bit float recording, 14 hours of 24-bit regular recording. And either way, it's nice to just hit record before you work on a project so that at the very least, if your wireless transmissions fail or get interrupted at all, you have that backup file to sync up in post. Enough about this Max 2 for a second. Let's get to the A1, which is absolutely adorable. I seriously love this little thing, and I probably will use this all the time for Instagram Reels. Checking to see if my little A1 is working. Now I am not using the A1. This is the internal camera microphone. Wow, I look old right now. But let's talk about the buttons on this little guy. There's only one actually, and you just hold it down to turn the device on. Now I can click once to turn on noise cancellation. Again, if you use the app, you can customize this to have low, medium, or high noise cancellation. And then you double tap to start a recording like that, which is really cool. So even a little mic like this can do safety recordings. And while you're doing these functions, the receiver here shows what you're actually doing. So if I double tap to turn off the recording, it shows you there. Single tap to turn on noise cancellation and so forth. Isn't that nice? That's just a nice quality of life feature. Especially if you have somebody holding your phone, they can tell you, hey, your light's not turned on, or hey, it turned green. Like, just to give you a little bit of a warning in case you don't want something happening. If you're gonna be recording outdoors and you wanna be ultra safe about not having wind noise, it does come with some nifty little clip-ons. So for the Max, you get this little windscreen right here. Just push it on like that. That ain't coming off, baby. Seriously, I'm like making that baby dance. But the attachment I'm most excited about, specifically with the Max 2, is this. This little doohickey right here is what could make this microphone potentially professional. So all you do is literally plug in the USB-C connector to the bottom of the Max like this, and then it adds a 3.5 mil jack right there so that you can plug a lav mic into this and actually hide this transmitter in a pocket or a clothing item and then run a lav up under a shirt, dress, whatever, and actually have a hidden microphone with a tiny 32-bit float recorder. The one downside that I wish Hollyland would have considered is that this jack does not have a screw-on thread. So there's nothing protecting you from yanking out that cable. So if you actually are gonna use these for client shoots or anything professional like weddings, I would absolutely like gaff tape these or find some way to secure them. I believe the rain has stopped, so let's go back out and take the e-bike out for a little spin. Well, folks, we're gonna do an extreme noise windscreen test. Traded my car straight up for this e-bike. Feeling pretty good about it. This is the A1 with no windscreen on it and no isolation at all. We're going 25 miles an hour. Now I have the windscreen turned on and it is, I mean, the wind noise is loud in my ear. I imagine it's loud on my chest. Now this is a windscreen on and AI noise cancellation. I'm going 24 miles per hour. It's loud in my ears just being on this open bike trail. Okay, so now we're back to no windscreen, no AI noise cancellation. I wanna see what the noise cancellation does without the windscreen to see if it's even remotely usable. Okay, now AI noise cancellation's turned on. I'm going 27 miles per hour. Oh my God. All right, now we are on the Max 2. This is what my iPhone sounds like. And this is what the Max 2 sounds like. Oh gosh, here comes some water. Yeah! We're on the Max 2 with no noise cancellation and no windscreen. Noise cancellation is turned on, 32-bit float, because I don't have a lightning connector to wirelessly transmit to my phone, so I'm just syncing this in post. Now this is with the windscreen on, and there's definitely wind. I can feel it. That squirrel just almost jumped on me. Holy. Now we have a windscreen on and AI noise cancellation. There's a ton of wind. Holy crap, I gotta slow down. So yeah, I hope that was a helpful test. Now I'm gonna switch over to using the Max in a more professional setting. So let's actually set up this lav mic in a way that I would do on like a freelance shoot. Some things you're gonna probably need if you wanna use these transmitters professionally is some covers for the microphones. Ow. And also some quality stickies that can go on your talent's clothing or skin. I'm gonna use my personal lav mics because this is how I would actually use it in a professional setting. First step, sticky. I put the microphone in the middle of the sticky there and leave a little room on top here. You'll see why. This is what goes on the other side of this guy. This is why I leave a little room on top, so to make sure it covers the mic capsule. And I get it nice and pressed up like that. Once you have your microphone set up like this, you're gonna peel that back part off. I put it basically right in between the nips because you get that bass resonance of your chest. That's why sometimes holding a microphone like this doesn't sound very good because you're just getting like the sibilance and tinniness of your voice directly into microphone. Whereas if you put it close to the resonant part of your chest where your voice reverberates in your body, then it sounds very bassy and professional without adding bass in the EQ. Pretty cool. If you're still getting cloth noise after you put the mic here and you have it set up, you might have to put like a little bit of moleskin or body tape, like medical tape over this setup as well to get rid of that extra cloth noise. Mark Bone has a really good tutorial on this whole concept that I will link in the description as well. Now I gotta plug my microphone into my transmitter, see how good it sounds. It's the next day because I ran into a problem. When I tried to record that audio to the transmitter, it did not work with my microphone because the jack on that USB-C adapter does not allow my microphone to be plugged fully into that, so I got no recording. However, I have switched to the Hollyland mic that comes with this kit, so I'm just gonna show you what that sounds like mounted on my chest in the exact same way. Okay, this is what it sounds like with Hollyland's included microphone, and it's mounted to my chest. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Join my Patreon to have your name here if you want. And yeah, appreciate the support. All right, peace.